Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Friday. And first and foremost, as always, want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, with all that being said, we do all know that the Lakers were in action on Wednesday night, going against the crosstown rivals, none other than the Los Angeles Clippers, who were without the services of a Kawhi Leonard. And lo and behold, we had the same old song being played as the Lakers have been doing not only this year but even dredging into some of last year. And I know last year I put a lot of onus on Coach Vogel and his mismatching as far as the way he was coaching, and a lot of people said he simply just didn't have the personnel to compete, and I would also say that was part of it, but a lot of it was that he could not coach. Now with Darvin Ham, we do know that he is a rookie coach and he's still trying to find his way, and teams have to build chemistry. So what a lot of people are failing to realize right now is the Lakers have yet to build chemistry. How can you build chemistry when you're a brand new team? So when you're playing really great defense the way the Lakers were doing when they were top 2 or 3 in the league, now they've fallen out of the top 10, but a couple of games against the Utah Jazz to do that to anybody, because they are a high-flying offense for real. And I think the Utah Jazz, I just got to throw this in here about the Jazz, they knew what they were doing. When they got rid of Rudy Gobert, they knew that they could spread the floor even more and be able to be a quick moving offense. And man, when I'm talking about they got over with all the draft picks they got, I'm telling you what, man, Utah Jazz are going to be around for a while to come. And I'm telling you what, they have some players that Lauri Markkanen, he is a great player. But anyway, this is not about the Utah Jazz. That's just a side note. But that's what happened to the Lakers defense when you go up against the Jazz and they dropping 130 on your ass a couple times in a week. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I won't blame the Lakers for that, because the Jazz, hey, they number one in the West right now, surprising a whole lot of people. We'll see if it continues to stay that way. But one thing I did want to touch on was that, you know, Anthony Davis, and of course we all know LeBron James went down with a groin injury during this time. And I had already said before, LeBron James needs to sit out because of that foot. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise. He can sit these games out and then heal that foot as well as that groin. Because we know this is the same groin that he had trouble with the left side when he tore or either strained his groin real bad in the 2019 campaign and caused him to miss a lot of games. It's his first year in LA, which on Christmas Day against the Warriors, which they was up by 30 against the Kevin Durant Warriors. But we won't get into all that because, you know, we all know what happened. If that injury never happened, who knows where the Lakers would have finished with them young guns, and maybe they wouldn't even trade it to get AD, because that team that they had with Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram with LeBron James, it had a lot of length as far as on the wings with Kuzma and Brandon Ingram. But we're not looking to the past. You know, it is what it is. The Lakers did get a championship out of this. But, you know, I still got to come for Rob Pelinka, though, because at the end of the day, man, you had from the end of the season, April, look at this dude just almost hit me, man. Y'all want me to get out of character, man. But anyway, from the end of last April until the beginning of the season, to come up with a roster that you can construct around your two superstars, and that of LeBron James and that of Anthony Davis, and you failed to do so. And you look at teams like, I look at a team like Indiana the other night playing against Denver. You know, right there with Denver to the very end, because you look at their role players, are actually good players. You know, I look at Buddy Hield being able to play off the ball, being able to run off screens and curls and do all these great things and hit open shots. And you look at a Miles Turner who can sit up here and play good defense. I mean, playing better defense than I've seen on Jokic in a long time, playing him straight up one-on-one. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't understand why the Lakers didn't pull the trigger, because you had Rob Pelinka saying all summer, well, if it's draft picks, you know, I do whatever I can or whatever it takes to surround this team. But then he's saying, oh, I need to see 20 games with Russ. Well, you've seen 10 or 11 now, so what do you think? And LeBron James carrying such a heavy load that is being detrimental to his body. Now, do I think that the Lakers can still compete? They've been competitive in every game. They've been competitive until that same third quarter rears its ugly head, and for whatever reason, they do not come. And as a team, I don't give a damn about chemistry or whatever else. These other teams know when facing the Los Angeles Lakers, they like, man, all we got to do is come out and put our foot on the gas. and put our foot on their throat in the third quarter, and they gonna fold like a wet paper sack. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what they've been doing every third quarter. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why the Lakers don't huddle up in the halftime locker room and say, listen, that same, like that game against the Clippers, man, they got down 17 early on in the in the first quarter, and then in the second quarter played with such defensive intensity that you was able to fight yourself back in the game. So if you could do that in the second quarter, you need to be able to do that in the third quarter and in the fourth quarter as well. But however, has been the case, and I know a lot of times when you're playing such great defense like that, then you're going to start losing out on the offensive end if it's not coming to you and you can't get into a rhythm. But what I noticed in that Clippers game in particular is the Lakers are really suffering, and I hate to say this. I know everybody want to put AD as center, but I really think it would be well suited for Anthony Davis to be in the 4 spot. But unfortunately, because of the injuries to Thomas Bryant, Damian Jones has not proved himself well to be a starting center in this league, especially going up against some of the other centers. I would still like to see the lineup. I've yet to see it from Darvingham with Damian Jones and AD in together. I've seen Damian Jones in with LeBron a couple times, with LeBron in the 4 and him in the 5, but I would like to see Damian Jones in the 5 and AD in the 4, because when AD is in the 4, it gives him a lot more freedom to roam the floor and give help defense. But when he's in the 5, it puts a big pressure on the defense for him to try to help off the weak side, because when he does that, he's going to be able to leave men open for easy lobs, or people making an extra pass. It's just going to be too much easy offense for them. But if you can get Anthony Davis in there at the 4 spot when Thomas Bryant comes back, then you have a rim protector. Like, say for instance, if they were to have a Miles Turner, then you have a true center. Because the Lakers, think about it, they're starters right now. Pat Bev, I would say yes, he is a starter in this league because what he brings to you on the defensive table. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, yes, they are starters in this league. Troy Brown, Austin Reeves, they are bench players, but yet they're starting for the Lakers. But they would be better relegated to the bench. And then if you had a Miles Turner starting and a Buddy Hield in place of those two, now you got 5 legitimate NBA starters, and then the Lakers could actually make moves and start to beat some ass, because now you got a three-point shooter, a reliable three-point shooter in Buddy Hield. You got a great defender in a Miles Turner who could be a rim protector and play great defense. And then you also would have Anthony Davis at the 4, which would allow him to roam around, and they wouldn't necessarily have to pack the paint, because Anthony Davis don't like playing in the paint anyway, so he can roam around on defense, and he can still pick and pop, and he can also shoot the jumper as he likes to do. So at the end of the day, I would like to see maybe Anthony Davis play that 4 spot, but of course the Lakers come out, Schroeder is hurt, that doesn't help. Thomas Bryant is hurt, that doesn't help. So it would have been nice to have a full healthy roster, but of course that is not the case. So now the Lakers, finally, they've been taking on teams that are above 500 playoff teams every single night. They hadn't had a break, so now they get into a little weaker part of their schedule where they're going to play the Sacramento Kings. And I won't knock the Sacramento Kings, because you saw how they took Golden State to the limit the other day. They've been playing really well. De'Aaron Fox is a hooper, Sabonis is a hooper, so they've been looking good. So there's no gimme wins. So I would like to see, with LeBron James out, I would like to see Russell Westbrook back in the starting lineup, truth be told, because I think Russ and AD play quite well together. And then you talk about leads. Think about it. The Lakers find themselves in trouble in the first quarter every time, right? And in the third quarter every time. Well, think about what that could mean. That's probably because you're using that same damn lineup from the first quarter and the third quarter, because in the third quarter, you come back in with that same lineup. So if you haven't noticed, then once Russ comes in, that's when they start to make a move, fight back in the game, playing good intensive defense. So, the Lakers, I know everybody calling them dead in the water. The season is over. I still say it's a young season, and because of the play-in tournament, you got 20 out of 30 teams that make the playoffs essentially because of that play-in tournament. So with the LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and you can't get into the play-in tournament, then that's a problem. And I look at that as a problem as far as roster construction, because at the end of the day, this team just 2 years ago won the championship, and then all of a sudden you lose a Kyle Kuzma, you lose a KCP, you lose a Caruso, you lose a Danny Green. All these moves being made for what? To bring in who? I don't understand. And the team just got dramatically worse over the next 2 years, and that onus falls on Rob Pelinka. I know LeBron James, probably pushed them to bring in a Russell Westbrook. It didn't work out, and now they probably says, we're not paying any luxury tax. We're not going to trade him and give up all these draft picks. Russell Westbrook contract is over at the end of the year, and it is what it is. We just gonna play it out and deal with it, But Rob Pelinka steadily said, we're not gonna waste LeBron James' last years here. We owe it to him. What he means as one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and what he means to our organization organization, and we owe that to him, and we're trying to win now. But obviously that hadn't been the case. But it's starting to make me wonder, is Kyrie Irving, do they still have plans to get a Kyrie Irving? Because Kyrie has kind of distanced himself. Of course, we all know what's been going on with him in the news and everything like that. So is there a chance that he could be headed to LA and we just don't know about it? Maybe they have a back plan that they're still working on, because in the summer, that's all it was. Kyrie going to LA, Kyrie going to LA. Of course, he opted in. He could have opted out and took less money and easily came, but that wasn't the case, and I can't blame him for doing so. But do the Lakers still have some kind of plan to bring Kyrie there? Because if they do, I'm telling y'all, Kyrie and Anthony Davis, even without LeBron, would be dangerous. And then you have a chance to have LeBron to go ahead and sit back and get healthy. And then once he can get healthy, then it'll be dangerous for everybody. So I wouldn't mind seeing LeBron sit out for a whole month, even if they lose a lot of games. Well, hell, at the worst case scenario, hell, you get that #1 draft pick next year. That's what the Lakers need anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. They did list LeBron as day-to-day. It wasn't a tear. It was just a sprain or strain, so that is good. So it's nothing bad that's going to keep him out for a prolonged period of time, and he's getting rehab. But what I will say is I would like to see him really get the rest that he needs to recuperate and come back at 100%, because if you come back and that groin isn't fully healthy, all it takes is one thing. And if you end up with a tear or a sprain, or anything worse than what you already have, then you could be out for a prolonged and extended period of time, and that's something that we do not want to see from LeBron James. So please get healthy, do what you can. I think the Lakers can make a move over the next few games and get themselves back into because teams gonna start tanking for that player. I'm telling y'all right now. So you got to make a move, position yourself. If you can get into the playoffs and get healthy around that time, then you just never know. Because I'm telling you right now, it's a lot of teams out here that look very vulnerable. Golden State doesn't look all that good. It's a lot of teams that don't look all that good compared to last year. Phoenix Suns, Milwaukee, of course, looks great. But, I like the Lakers' chances. And it's all about matchups. It's all about matchups. So, I still know a lot of people don't believe in Anthony Davis, but I think he's been a top 3 defensive player in the year so far this year for what he's bringing on the defensive end. But I think they putting too much responsibility on him to anchor that defense from that standpoint by putting him in the 5 game in and game out, which he said it doesn't matter because he could be more free flowing. But I would like to see him in that 4 position. I mean, even maybe tonight, let's see Damian Jones in that 5, AD in that 4. But you really don't have the luxury to do so because you do got Wayne and Gabriel. If you go a little bit smaller, but which I've liked his play and his energy as of late. They said he worked on his 3-point in the gym all summer. I hadn't seen that as of yet. But at the end of the day, when you got Lakers shooting, stuff off the side of the backboard, and plus they haven't been healthy. I mean, Beverly's missing games, and of course Lonnie Walker gets sick and missing games. They could have used him last game against the Clippers when it was close like that, because he does bring something offensively, and I think Lonnie Walker has been playing great, and he was just starting to get his confidence back in 5 out of 9 for threes one game, So I think if he can get his confidence back and the Lakers can begin to just win a few games, man, you just got to get that confidence, and then who knows what'll happen. But at the end of the day, man, this been your boy B New. I'm saying, man, right on to the real. Much love to the haters. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Hit that bell, hit that like, hit that subscribe. One love. Peace.